Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Brian of Hessens County, and I'm glad that you could join me again today. This is going to be the sort of little introductory clip that I'm going to put on the front of a series of videos talking about several games from the World Building 2 bundle. This is a bundle that was organized by Sprinting Owl, otherwise known as on the internet as Kumada 1. The basic idea behind this bundle was to create a sort of package that would allow a person to have a wide variety of world building advice, world building tools, or games that feature a significant amount of lore creation or sort of world building in their design and structure. There are 50 different contributors to this, and I believe there are roughly 60 games, but if I'm wrong, I will put a number up on the screen somewhere to let you know exactly how many there are. Um, I almost forgot one that I've already actually done a video about, which is that one right there, Schisms and Sacrilege. Schisms and Sacrilege was actually the very first TTRPG Talk video that I made for the channel. So I will share a link to that video in the doobly-doo down below. Now, let's take a look at one of our games. Welcome back, everybody. The game we're going to be taking a look at for today is the recipe on Kmiydish Paper. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. This is a lost and found game that was released by Pierce Anderson and Alan Erkin. This game, in many ways, is a game about food, but also about people, about culture, and honestly, I wish I had more time to talk about this game because it's amazing. um, but just to get us started, written on Kmiydish paper is pretty clear about its inspirations and sort of its real life sort of backstory lore behind the creation of the game and the inspiration of the game, and that is it is strongly based on the pre-World War II experience of Jewish peoples living in Eastern Europe. In particular, a lot of the areas that are culturally referenced in the game, in the Spotify video, the Spotify playlist that the creators provided that you could listen to during rest periods in the middle of the game. And also in the setting and culture section, is that it is very strongly influenced by uh, essentially Jewish experience and culture and Eastern, and also the people who would have been living around them in the Eastern Balkans in particular, or around the Black Sea area, like cities like Istanbul or Budapest, Odessa, Bratislava, Lviv. So there's lots of inspirations from that area. As I mentioned, this is a lost and found game. Lost and found games usually feature an item as the primary sort of character, or at least the vessel that you're experiencing the world through, as opposed to like an actual person character. In this case, you are a recipe for a particular kind of food. So, what kind of things you might be experiencing for the creation of your recipe depends partly on what type of recipe you are. And then how you experience the world is through the people who use you. So, for example, in another Lost and Found game, The Banner, you are a banner and you pass through hands of people weavers who like add to you and change you and shape you and do stuff like that. Here it's exactly the same thing. You are a recipe for a particular kind of food and you are shaped and changed and you evolve over the course of a series of acts that are inspired uh, with events that are inspired by partly by culture and real history, and you're answering questions, sort of building out the culture of the people, building out events that happen, building out all kinds of different things. In each section, you will roll or choose events off of tables. Um, and answer a series of questions. So, in some ways, this is a solo journaling game, and in other ways, this is a world building game. And honestly, the world building already existent in this game is really awesome, and this would be a really great world, I think, to potentially play in just from the very beginning. Much less with just with the little bit that's on the settings and those two settings and culture pages by themselves. Um, there is a wide variety of different chefs for each round that you could potentially choose from that really tell a lot about the world. The fact that there seems to be a feeling of magic, for example, the botanical golem, um, which again is a reference to Jewish culture, the origins of that. We have people who might be really important to your world, like they're like the doula, or pilgrims, revolutionaries, caravanserai traders, refugees, all kinds of different people. Um, and let's see, where's one? Let's see. Oh, right. Uh, and in the back, there's a whole series of tables that you can utilize. So, for example, they've created several words that you could potentially utilize, religious rituals that your people might have, food cultural habits that they might have. So, for example, singing songs when you cook, right? Or interesting one. It says your people divine landslides through the bones that remained at the end of a feast. So you would eat your food, you gather up the bones, and then that hill over there is gonna collapse in like a week, or something like that. That's really interesting. As I might have mentioned before, I really wish that I could talk more about this game. It is honestly a really great idea. It is an awesome design. So much of culture it really is either inspired by or held in food, that it's really hard to describe, especially if you are a person who doesn't necessarily live in the same area that you used to, even inside the same country. Um, Especially if we're talking about like really big countries, like let's say the United States, right? Or if you come from a particular, your household has a tendency to cook a particular, type of cuisine. Um, you know, when you move around and you experience different elements of that, it really a game like this is really really nice and inspiring and kind of connects to that, which I really appreciated. Kind of reading through it and thinking about it and playing through it. Um, I wish I could talk about this game for hours because it's great. And I really hope that you check it out. If you really are interested in potentially taking a look at recipe on Kmiydish paper, you can take a look in the doobly-doo down below for links to the bundle if you wish to get it with the whole package deal. If you just wish to get the game, that link will also be in the doobly-doo down below, along with links to the creators, uh, to at least some of the creators' websites and other and sundry links that are actually shared on this page right here inside of the book. If you would like to take a look at any of my stuff and support, obviously you have the different videos here on the YouTube channel. I have links in the doobly-doo down below. Also, the description to my coffee, to my the Hessens County blog, and of course to my own itch store. Thank you all for joining us today, and do have a good zone.